Yeah, I mean, July is vacation time. And it's also
Join us Monday mornings at 8:45 a.m. and Thursdays 6:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time. See you then.
Hi, good morning to Awakenings Within. Morning chat.
Good
Mine's
morning.
up.
Coffee comes up.
Mug
I'm back to my old
up.
Earth Mother mug.
Oh.
What did you say? Goals
Mine's-
just want to have fun. Oh, ha, ha, ha. So now you're a goal.
Good.
Now you're a goal.
Fun, huh?
You're a goal. Is that a Southern
I'm a
thing?
goal. I'm not a goal.
Well,
They're
you
a
had
goal.
it on your cups. I just thought maybe you were a goal. I thought that was like a Southern thing. You know how they always got a twang. So you're not a girl. You're a goal.
I'm
You're
a
a
goal.
goal.
Nah. Well, that's that. They're doing the play on the song. Good morning, everybody. Hi, Andrew. Thanks for joining us. Good morning. Good morning, Heather. How are you today? How is everybody today? This lovely. Oh, there's Larry. I was like, "Where's Larry?" Hello, Larry.
It's Monday.
Morning.
Everybody's still trying to figure out how they're doing.
Monday.
They're trying to get themselves, prepped for the week. You know what I mean? It's like get yourself in the right frame of mind.
Yes.
We got 5 days here.
Yes. Good morning, Jason with the Y.
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly.
wow, we're having lots of people join. Thanks for joining. This is our morning coffee chat. And we usually don't go too deep on this. Ha 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 ha. We always laugh at that because we always think multitasking day, Larry, that's good. We try to stay a little light on the topics.
Right. So let's start off with something fun like football.
Yay! Go Chiefs. Yeah.
And then
what are you wearing? Oh, you're wearing Green Bay.
So it was a good weekend for me.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
See,
my Packers scored over 40 points the second week in a row.
Yay.
Crushed those Detroit Lions, and then our Chiefs. I mean, our Chiefs seriously have the most amazing kicker in the whole league. I mean,
yes.
What guy has to kick
guy.
3 58-yard field goals to win the game? Like, he had to kick it 3 times.
3
like
times.
Most guys can't even make one of those.
I mean, he had to do it 3 times. I felt so bad for him. I was like, are you kidding me right now? I'm like,
unbelievable.
Oh, that was so.
That's seriously unbelievable. I mean, most guys can't even kick one 50-yard 58. You kick 3, only 1 counted.
I know.
It's seriously amazing.
I know. And the poor guy. I mean, that's a role that I would not want to have because it's all on you. Like there's no defense. Oh, it's your kicking ability. And if you don't kick that ball,
the only one thing is though is that because you're kicking that far, the ball has to go at a lower trajectory, which means your offensive linemen actually have to block people and keep them from penetrating, right? So it is a team effort because those big hogs up front have got to keep people back so he can kick it low. But my gosh, that was just I mean, I've never seen somebody kick 358 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
That was seriously amazing.
That was. Poor guy. Had to do it 3 times. So Andrew says he's from Michigan. So
okay, Andy. Sorry, buddy.
Listen to you.
Actually, we stole one of your guys. Our right tackle, Rick Wagner, who's a Wisconsin boy, ended up playing yesterday against his old Lions team. But yeah.
Oh, wow.
Aaron Rodgers and the Packers offense was clicking yesterday. Woo.
Look at me talking football.
Exactly.
Football. I became a Chiefs fan. Thank God. What, last year or the year before? Right before, I mean, I was a fan before they won. Okay. I'm not one of those weird fans that go, oh, I'm a Chiefs fan because they won the Super Bowl. No, I was a fan before. Andrew says, I don't support any of the Michigan pro teams. They all suck. Well, so my ex was a Ohio State Buckeye.
Oh, he was a Buckeye fan?
Oh my God. If I
Yeah.
never had to hear about the Buckeyes ever again, I would be absolutely fine. So Heather's, she's telling me it was last year I became a fan. I sat out there and I said, okay, I think I'm going to be a fan with you guys. And so
Did you grow up being like a football person, or did you sort of adopt football recently?
I'm from St. Louis. And if you know anything about St. Louis, you know it's a baseball, hockey town, period. End of discussion. Even when they had NFL teams. I hate it. It's the truth. We are baseball crazy fans. I mean, our whole world is centered around baseball. Like in my family, my grandfather played baseball. You know, everybody played baseball, you know, that I knew of. I mean, we didn't play soccer. I know there are now, but back then it was either hockey or baseball. Sure. And football was for high school. Okay. So we are diehard high school football fans. Like whatever high school you went to is whatever football team, you know, so we were
my family's all from Chicago. So they were Cubs fans. Right. So, but we went on, I remember when we were, I don't know, would have been 68, I think. We took a family vacation to St. Louis, and for my dad, it was going to Busch Stadium. So I got to see Lou Brock and Kurt Flood and Bob Gibson pitching, and all of those, the oldies, you know what I mean? Del Maxwell, Julian Javier, you know, all the old boys. So died recently, I saw. Yeah. But you're right. So it's kind of like the same dynamic in Lawrence, right? It's very hard for the football team to get any traction because they're so obsessed with basketball.
Yeah, right. I mean, when I lived in Chicago in the early 90s, when the dream team was there for basketball. It was so awesome. I was so excited. Only got to see one game with Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan. And, you know, the dream team. Oh, they were so good. That was so awesome.
I raised a sports fanatic son during that era. So for his 12th birthday, we took him to Michael Jordan's restaurant, and I thought he had died and went to heaven. It was like,
the art that he had in that restaurant was amazing. So I lived in Chicago for about 3 years. And so
really, what part of Chicago? Because that's a big place.
Well, North Chicago.
Oh, North Chicago.
Where the Great Lakes, where the Navy base was.
Oh, the base. That's right. Yeah. Sorry.
The base. So I went to Milwaukee more than I went to Chicago. So of course I did all the beer tours and all that fun stuff. And
speaking about beer, you know what just started yesterday?
What?
Oktoberfest in Germany.
Yes.
So all the little damsels in their traditional things carrying their big steins.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's a month of drinking has just started in Bavaria.
Where did you see that?
I was scanning through some photos, and sure enough, they said, Oktoberfest has started. So, but of course, they're all wearing masks. So, it'll be a subdued Oktoberfest this year, I'm sure.
You got your mug up and you're going to drink beer.
The crowd will be sparse because normally it's just jam packed. I mean, it's all tents, and so and then have you ever been to Germany or seen any of those?
I have not been to Germany.
It's unbelievable. I spent over a decade in the music business, so I spent a lot of time over there, and I remember around 4:00 there was this building that had these massive doors. I thought it was like a stable or something, and the doors open, and everybody goes in, and there's these massive wooden barrels, like massive. Right.
Wow.
And everybody lines up and gets their big stein of beer. It's just, like, it's unbelievable.
Well, I lived in Virginia near Williamsburg, and Busch Gardens, their big, huge place was Oktoberfest. So they did traditional Oktoberfest, German music and everything. It was really cool. I have German heritage too, a little bit. So we ate a lot of German food. My grandmother was mainly German, and so she would always make all the dishes the hot potato salad and all that fun stuff. So,
oh yeah, that was my life growing up. So, my mom and dad kind of escaped Chicago, moved to Milwaukee, but was always back to Chicago. And there were Biedermans and Cammers, Biedermans from Udergambach, which was just by Karlsruhe, you know what I mean? And Teamsters in Chicago. And just, my family goes way back to like the 1840s, 1850s Chicago era.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, when I lived in Chicago, I had little young children. So I never went anywhere. And it was freezing cold there. It was so cold.
I can get there.
That was the coldest place I've ever lived in my life. I was like, I will never live here again. By the third year, I was like, I'm out. In fact, I left
the wind off the lake, eh?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Hey. And we had a Cutlass Supreme that was diesel. And so you had to plug the baby in, right? And so we had an extension cord from the back of our house to this car. Well, when it's iced over overnight or whatever, and we couldn't get the plug off. And so I would take a hair dryer out there. I actually got smart and took the double-headed one and stuck a blow dryer and and got it off just to go somewhere. And I was like, okay, this is ridiculous. I'm like, I can't even drive my car, to go to a grocery store, forget it. So, and he was a company commander, so he was pushing boots. So he was gone from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. at night every day.
Yeah.
And I was like, after about 2.5 years in, I was like, you know what? My mom lives in Florida and you really don't need me for these last 6 months. So I'm peace out. Mm-hmm. So my sister came and we loaded up the car and I drove to Florida. I was like, I cannot go through this winter, not one more time. I was like, I can't deal.
Of course, I grew up in it, so it was normal to me. So let me change subjects on you because, I had a really good weekend and a really bad weekend.
Oh, go ahead.
So my good weekend was my football teams won. My bad weekend was I just got my auto insurance notice and my insurance went up $1,200.
What?
I know. I'm like, I got a call. I'm going to make a call this morning and
that's
go,
crazy.
What in heaven's name is going on? So I'm just curious if anybody that's listening has had that same experience where their rates just jumped through the roof. Yeesh.
Morning, Bill.
It's like my car's a year older and my insurance went up. It's like, how does that work? And I don't know if that's just the company or if it's something.
Oh my goodness.
Or because of the.
I
was stunned, honestly. Actually, just in shock. So I sat there yesterday looking at the policy going,
wow. I wonder, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. So I got some research.
It could be a typo.
Insurance companies out there.
They could have done a typo. Oh, listen, Nathan says thanks. Really, Nathan? Really?
But no, I mean, it's stunning. I'm wondering.
Good morning, Nathan. Thanks for joining.
What happened,
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's my big mystery to solve this week is why are my rates going up so crazy?
Well, mine didn't. Mine went down. So,
wow.
I'm not sure. I mean, it can't be because they think that we're all driving out on the road since we're, in lockdown somewhat.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, thanks, Nathan. That's my nephew. Anyway, there's not some random guy telling me he loves me.
I'm kind of curious how people are doing. I mean, how many months are we into this pandemic?
Oh gosh. Good.
Let's see, what is it? March, April, May, June, July, August, September. Yeah. So we're 7 months into this thing.
I don't even want to know.
No, I'm just curious how people are doing. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
Okay.
How are you doing?
Is this become normal now? Is this, you know what I mean? It's like for a while there, we were all kind of thinking like, well, this is a temporary kind of thing. And in a few months, everything will go back to how it was in 2019. And now we're 7 months later. Yeah. 7 months almost. I mean,
Yeah.
Is
Well,
this our new normal now? I mean, is this the, or
oh Lord, the new
do
normal.
people think it's going to go back to how it was last year? Or are we, is this the way it's going to stay? And are we all adapting? Are we all or are we all sort of still in shock?
Change for you, Nathan. Yeah.
No, I'm just curious how people that are listening, how they kind of feel about where things are headed,
Exactly. Fed up. Oh, hey, Desma. Thanks for joining. Yeah. So, yeah. How are you guys doing? Just
well, we humans by nature are
canceling events for 2020, not giving me a lot of hope. Well, yeah. Now, what's crazy is over the weekend, I went to two different music outings. Everybody, they were outside. The first one was absolutely social distanced. The second one wasn't so much. So I had an outside chair and I stayed in the back, and people had to wear masks walking around. But I have to say that when I saw them dancing on the dance floor, well, it wasn't a dance floor, it was a parking lot, so it was concrete. I don't believe they were wearing masks up there, but I'm not positive. But I was like, what?
Well, we're in a bit of if you think about it, we're in a bit of a conundrum, right? Because God created us humans to be relational, right? In other words, there's a reason why we have a free will and a mind and emotions, why we have families, we have units, because we're relational, right? So we grow up in a family unit and we have these different roles and that's our normal, right? And then suddenly something comes along, like this pandemic, and that completely throws out a massive amount of our socialization.
Yeah, I like what Nathan had to say too. It definitely showed the cracks. What cracks we had in our society at the time. So I don't know. That's why I started the show, is for us to kind of talk about that, how people are doing, because being out there isolated is not healthy. So
that's exactly it. In other words, and so the reason I bring this up is because we're wired a certain way, right? We're wired to be relational, to relate, to connect, all these kind of things, right? And for a lot of us, that's where we find our emotional connection, our stability, right? In other words, when we're feeling low, we go hang with friends. I mean, there's all these things that we do, and that are interactive, right?
Yes.
And suddenly now that's been taken away from us dramatically. And so now what's interesting to me, as we were talking a little earlier, is that now we're seeing all kinds of craziness going, like extreme behaviors, people overreacting,
overreacting.
The word that's been coming to me is hysterical, right? There's a certain hysteria that we're seeing. And of course, the media just fans it, right? Because hysteria sells newspapers and gets people to go to your website.
Yeah.
But I find it interesting right now because we're reacting, right? Our emotions right now. A lot of people's nerves are sort of frayed. People are a little touchy, Yeah. So it's almost like you have to work overtime to be kind and nice.
You do. Well, and like we were saying about overacting, I think it's because of the level of control that's being put, kind of, like you have to do this way, right. XYZ, that the underlying rebellion of people, and in all different sects, SECTS. By the way.
Well, again, we're dealing with cultural norms, right? Because
so if you're this way, and like, Nathan says, introverts are having a blast. Desma said that, isolating is not healthy. Well, for us extroverts, we have to go out. I mean, that's just that's our deal. And like, I went to two different, music things, and it's because I'm relational. I have to be amongst people. And so that's been very difficult for me to navigate. And but I have followed the, guidelines. I have a mask, I have a sanitizer, I have this and the right. So but they are giving us an outlet to do. I mean, outside music events I think is fine as long as you're social distance, I guess. But I mean,
well, I'm more fascinated by the psychology, again, my psychology, sociology background, because it's fascinating to me, again, because cultures have personalities, right? So German culture and Japanese culture, which are very controlled, kind of top down, very efficient cultures, they're having less problems, right, with all of this, because it's this kind of environment where everybody needs to be controlled is sort of normal for them, right?
Right.
If you get into an American culture, which is still at its soul a bit wild, wild west, it's a little bit. I mean, we are a nation. We have to remember this. We are a nation that became a nation because we rebelled. Like we didn't want somebody telling us what to do, right? So there's this sort of, so cultures take on personalities, right? And so, but what's interesting right now is that as time has gone on, we seem to have two groups of people, right? One who wants that sort of German, Japanese style, structured, government controlled, everything top down, tell us where we fit, make the decisions for us. And we're all good little foot soldiers, and we'll find our little place in the ranks and jump, right. Then there's this other half of the culture that's like, don't you dare do that to me. Don't you dare do that to me.
I wonder where I fit in that.
And so it's almost like, to me, it's like I'm watching our society right now, and it's like this clashing. And of course, it's so people immediately jump to politics, right? But what I'm trying to get to here is that the politics is actually the working out of things going on in people's souls, right? That's a fruit. That's not the root. That's not the problem. That's just whatever's going on inside of us manifesting itself, right?
Right. And whatever political, and of course, right now it's really political. So, and I don't even want to talk about that. I don't even want to go there. Right. Because it's just so controversial. All I have to say is register to vote and go and vote.
Well, I don't want to really talk politics, because that's
the only political thing that you can actually do. Fighting on Facebook isn't going to work. Fighting with your friends, your family, that all isn't going to work. You just have to go vote. That's how it will work. So go and vote for those people that you want in office and that line up with your affiliations. And that's all I have to say about that. Right. Listen,
I'm just saying, there's a scripture, there's 2 3:16s that are kind of my favorites. All right.
John would be one, maybe.
Well, of course, that's like the most famous 3:16, right? So God so loved the world, right? That's what almost everybody knows. But there's another one, 3:16, that I think actually is revealing. And it says this is wherever you have envy and selfish ambition, right? So wherever you have envy, you have the lust for stuff, right? Greed. So basically greed, right? And selfish ambition, right? Which is pride. So you got greed and pride, right? You were going to find disorder and every evil thing. So that's James 3:16. So the 2 3:16s are really interesting. So the reason I bring this up is because here we've got a guy writing 2,000 years ago that basically says, when you see evil, right? When you see society, evil in society, and you see chaos, the root of it is greed and pride.
Greed and pride, yes. And it's
2 of the 7 deadly sins, right?
Yeah. Here's the thing. We as a nation, I mean, that wasn't why I mean, each one of us came from different backgrounds. So when they came over here, they were all from different, like we talked about last week. You know, it depended on what ship you came on and what part of the country you landed in is what affiliation and society that was started. So it wasn't even like we all were together as one and just one type of religion, one type of politics. So that's why it's so important for us to understand the founding fathers and how they wrote the documents that formed our country. Mm-hmm. So I can't say that enough, that you really need to dive down and get educated onto the why, into how it happened, and to everyone that created those documents, their backgrounds, because they were not all the same, and they wrote it in a very moderate section. They didn't do it far right, far left. So it's really, I wish I would have learned more, I guess, in school about it.
Recognized was exactly what I just quoted you. They understood that one of the weaknesses, the flaws in humanity, is the lust for status and the lust for stuff. So because they factored in the fact that mankind tends to be self-centered and selfish, they tried to divide power, right? Because they had seen whatever happens whenever you have power consolidated, right, in one person,
right,
bad stuff happens. So they try to create a system of checks and balances where they separated the power, right?
Yes.
And actually what's going on now is a battle to do away with that. There's a real struggle going on right now over some of those issues, right?
Right. I mean, Andrew said it. He said, until the Electoral College is abolished, your vote doesn't matter. But it does, because it goes towards those votes in the Electoral College, from what I understand, correct? Doesn't your vote?
The Electoral College
vote a little bit.
If you didn't have the Electoral College, you'd have 4 states that would basically control who's president.
Yeah.
That's really how it works. They're just 4 states that would, you know, if you came from New York, California, Texas, and I can't remember what the 4th one was, but 4 states actually have like over 50% of the population. I mean, can you imagine people in Montana? They don't even have 1 million people in the whole state, right?
I keep putting Heather's up here. She didn't come on a ship.
What did she come on? I think Heather did. I think it was a spaceship.
Oh, a spaceship. You know, we haven't talked about aliens in a while, and everybody knows how much I love the aliens, right?
Exactly.
Well, no.
My favorite Martian.
The new audience members don't know
that,
you know, I can go down the rabbit hole. In fact, I did watch an alien video yesterday.
Did you talk?
Somebody sent it to me. Oh, come on. No political thingies up here. Okay. You can say vote. I'm not going to put who to vote for, because that just ain't happening.
Yeah, let's try not to get it into the
no
parties.
No, we won't do that.
Stay away from that.
Yes, we will. Okay, I'm okay. Electoral College is 51% of the population. They make so they have the vote. Yep.
So so it's just an interesting time right now overall. From us, you know, I mean, it's. I you know, what concerns me, and I hope our people that are listening to us, you know, it's like I feel for everyone out there, because it's just it's a crazy year, you know, and so one of the things that I think's going on, and I'm just ad-libbing here as we go, is that for most of us, our peace has come from a peaceful society. Like, in other words, it's been external forces, right, that give us peace. So we have a job, you know, everybody, you know, we have this routine, we have all these little structures in place, right? And our life sort of hums along like a finely oiled machine. And then 2020 comes along, and all that just gets thrown into chaos, right? And so then people get into anxiety, right? Because your peace is gone, because your peace was predicated on what? All these external forces or dynamics, right?
Well, some of us, like,
that's what I'm saying right now. So
I'm one of those that came from change. So I've changed up my life. I don't know. I've moved many times.
Well,
so
where I'm going
some
with
of us are like, oh, well, yep, this is a speed bump. Okay, let's go. What are we gonna do now? So that's that. That's I've stayed calm in all of it because I'm used to change. That doesn't mean that's a good thing.
Well, I guess what I was
used to it.
driving at was that we're in a situation right now where you had to turn inside into your soul, right? And you no longer can sort of have what's the word I want to, I don't want to say fake peace, but sort of synthetic peace, like peace because everything's going right. It's like you have to turn in and find peace inside yourself. Like you have to be peace. It's not there,
that's
our
right.
government's not going to give us peace. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Our society's not going to give us peace right now. You're not going to find anything outside of you is not going to give it to you. You have to find it within yourself and in your relationship with God. That's the only place to do it. If you're not anchored there, you're going to get tossed like this. This is a storm, right?
If you're not anchored in here, if you don't know, how to give yourself peace, how to get that peace, where it comes from, how that operates in your life. And I like what Nathan said, and I didn't mean to keep it up there so long. Let's see. Yeah, that if aliens did land on the earth, we wouldn't be shocked. I think they're here.
Like one of our hosts
they are here. Huh?
Our hostess is one.
So, apparently.
If they only knew, Sandy.
Shh.
So if we want to play this out.
I mean, come on, look at behind me. Are you serious right now? You don't know.
So like I told you one time, I know if we could find it and play it, but back in the 70s, one of the founders or the pioneers of the whole Christian rock genre was a guy. I think it was an albino guy, but his name was Larry Norman. Larry Norman had a song called "Only Visiting This Planet."
Oh, I gotta find it.
Yeah,
I'll play it.
Oh yeah, it was.
We'll be censored, by the way.
Only visiting this planet, and his concept, which is interesting. So, since we're talking about aliens, but the biblical worldview, the kingdom of God worldview, is that we are aliens.
Well, we are.
Yes. In other words, this physical realm that we live in isn't our home. We're only visiting, right? We're born and we die. And
what's it called?
So that was Larry Norman's only visiting this planet.
He doesn't have that. I don't see that.
Really? I'll have to find it for you.
Oh, wait a minute. In another land. Hold on. I bet you it's in here. There's one called UFO.
No, Larry Norman only visiting this planet. Let's see.
Okay, now we got to find that. Okay.
Yeah, there's all kinds of them.
Okay.
It's about a 4-minute song. If you Google it, you'll find it.
I found it.
Norman.
Only visiting the planet. I found it.
So is it a good song? The show with Larry.
Why won't it? That's the name of the
song. It's called "Only Visiting This Planet." Well, it's an album, actually.
Yeah, I was gonna say the album is called that, but it doesn't have.
Yeah, but there's a song on it.
It doesn't have it.
Oh yeah, I just pulled it up. I pulled up 4 versions of it.
Peace Pollution, Righteous Record.
Only Visiting This Planet.
I know it won't come up for me.
All right.
Can you play it?
I don't know. I don't know how I could do it on here. But anyways, you can Google it. But anyways, so
you can Google.
In some ways, if you are a person of faith and you're a follower of Jesus, you are, by definition, an alien.
Yeah. Well. Oh, I'm not. She says I'm a fairy. You're not a fairy. Well, maybe. How affect the how would so why? In the Bible, yes. Tinkerbell is my sister. It's true. I have her. She's right over there in the rainforest.
Okay.
So it does mention aliens in the Bible, by the way. So
There you go.
Yes, they were giants.
Oh, you're gonna get into the Nephilim and all that stuff.
No, but okay. They mention it in the Bible.
That's true.
And in this video that I was sent yesterday was about how, and again, it was sent to me that it was a guy that used to be a priest, and he is the one that was the narrator of it, saying that the ancient aliens. So talking about the ancient aliens, I've heard a lot about ancient aliens lately, and there's nothing wrong with that. Because we don't know sometimes, right? Like there's pieces in the Bible that you're going, something happened here between that period of time, right? You don't know. So they didn't mention the dinosaurs, right? So,
right.
But there were some. So
you get weird this morning. So how do I post the link to you? Like I can't, I'm sitting here looking at it and I can't even add a comment to my own show.
You can't?
No, there's no place for me to put a comment.
Oh no.
That's
I don't
weird.
know. That is weird. Why can't you? You can't, like, you don't have a comment thing in the bottom to write a comment in?
No. Oh, no, nothing.
That's
weird. I can't even. I have to only comment. What?
You have a comment section.
I know. I'm looking at the comment section, and there's nothing there for me to type. I can only read comments.
Oh no!
I've been censored.
Yeah, where is Michael Jones today?
I
think I saw him make a
probably down at the lake.
Visit. Yeah, how do we always end up talking about aliens? I know. You would think I'm an alien show. I don't know.
Oh, Nathan said he took my spot. Yeah, no, I'm looking all over this thing here going, I can't even send a comment to my own show.
Here, send me the link and I'll play it.
Okay, I'll send it to you via email.
My email.
All right, I'm sending it to you via email.
So we don't know. We're talking about aliens again. Yeah, we really are again. I think.
I sent it.
There's something about that. I must be an alien.
I'm an alien. I'm only visiting this planet. I'm on my way passing through.
I want to go back.
So.
I want to go back.
Well, anyways, but no, it's just an interesting time right now, eh?
Hey.
I'm doing that for any of our Canadian listeners.
Hey, any of your A's?
Any of our? Oh no, up in Canada, everybody's A. Hey.
Only visiting this planet.
I know, and well, it sucks about YouTube now anymore. Anytime you try to click on a YouTube link, you get a 30 or 4-minute political ad, and it's like, really?
Are you serious?
Oh no, it's just drives.
I am so disconnected from like real life.
No, they're just throwing it down our throats. You know what I mean? So
okay, so which song did you send me?
Only visiting this planet.
I know it doesn't like that. I'm telling you.
Did you see it? The link in the it's. I put it in the.
Yeah, and it won't. Only visiting this planet. I wish we'd been ready. I mean, there were other ones that popped up.
No, I just sent you the link. That's the one.
I know.
I'm listening. I can listen to this one.
Let me go in here. I know. Okay, talk amongst yourselves.
Why don't you put the bottle back on the shelf? Get a finger from your cigarette.
The song?
Shaking while your body's
the song.
If you get to Jesus, we got the answer.
Anyways, that's why only looking into Jesus. So, anyways, there you go.
That was good. Now we're all going to look it up today. Larry Norman.
All right.
I'll talk to you later, Sandy. Bye, Andrew. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, I'm going to go back to my reservation and get away from all the aliens. I'm sorry. They put the aliens
you kind of
reservation
on the alien thing.
Because we can feel that aliens will be our next step. I think that is really what is going to happen. Good morning, Richard. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? I think we should be ready, though.
Mhm.
I think so. So that's getting back to what you were actually talking about, which is I know that's where that you were headed, and I did not follow you. I just went into the alien section.
Yeah, you kind of went off the deep end on me.
Even I'm
You
all over
flew
the
away. You got in your little spaceship and flew
even
away.
even
on
I'm
I was
all over
talking
the place.
about us, not them.
Yeah, yeah. So knowing in here who you are, I'll always go back to that.
Well, I think it's a lot of times for me, when I kind of lose my bearings, I kind of go back to nature. Your fairies are falling down.
Some that fell.
I know.
Oh no!
One of your fairies fell.
Did you hear that? I was like, what?
I saw it. I saw it go down.
It was my sign.
Oh no. So one of the, I've always felt like, it's kind of like art, right? When you go look at art, what you're kind of seeing is the soul of the artist, right? Because art is an expression of the soul. So you learn a little bit about the artist. So creation, right, is the art of the creator. And so when I a lot of times need wisdom, I go back out there and reconnect with nature. So nature has a word picture.
Okay.
And the word picture is this: the eye of the storm.
Okay.
Right? When there's big hurricanes,
in
the very middle of it is this peaceful, calm place. So when you see these guys that are storm trackers, right? And what they'll do is they'll actually fly through the hurricane, and then suddenly they get into the center of it, and it's sunny and peaceful, and there's birds in there flying around, and it's just like Shangri-La. Like, it's so calm. You're just like, oh my gosh.
The eye of the storm is Shangri-La.
Uh-huh.
I always
that's what I think.
I like that word.
Shangri-La?
Yeah, just like that. I think there was
an alien and a fairy and all kinds of things. That's one of the,
So Desma wants to know, how does one prepare for them?
Well, we already are them.
Well, okay, but what about the other ones?
The other one, what?
The other aliens.
Okay, so
here's
what if aliens are actually angels?
Oh.
In other words, what if people just assuming, right,
that's exactly what this video I was talking about.
Oh God, now we're going. Oh no.
It did. It said that they were angels.
Right. Because I mean,
they had spaceships.
So I mean, so here's what we all know. We all know that there's a physical realm and there's a spiritual realm. There's all kinds of things we can't see. So there's another plane, another existence, another reality that we cannot see with our physical eyes. Our five senses are not they're not created to see into that world, right? Every once in a while, that spiritual world invades our.
I was gonna say, sometimes you can see into that world.
What's that?
Yeah, sometimes you can see into that world,
but you don't do it with your five senses. You do it with your spirit.
That's right.
Yeah. So your spirit is created to connect to the spiritual world. Your mind, your emotions, your five senses are for the physical world. Yeah. So there are some people who are as we've talked about a couple of weeks ago, with my friend Michelle, some people are just born with a little spiritual radar dish that are very in tune with that reality.
Yes.
Others are not. Others are way more analytical, way more, more gifted in that world. Right. So sometimes what happens is you meet some of these people and you just go, they're weird. Well, the reality of it is every prophetic person in the Bible was weird. Almost everybody that was an innovator was weird. Like weirdness, we all, it's like normal. What's normal and what's weird, right? Because it's all predicated on your perspective, right? So people that are looking at things from the physical world, right, that are using rational mind, right, they think that's normal, right?
Yeah.
But then when something comes from outside that reality, then they're like, oh, well, that's weird. Well, no, it's not weird. It's just different.
Yeah. It's just different.
It's different. It's a different reality. So every once in a while we have these experiences. And so it's interesting to me because I spent a lot of time, working with people that have been very, very successful. And from the outside looking in, everyone thinks that it's because they had a brilliant mind, right? There are all these things that, all these skill sets that made them brilliant, right?
Yes.
And what I have learned in talking with all of them is they all know that there was some spiritual event, something that they cannot explain.
Right. Right. And so
that happened in their life that set them on this course.
That's right.
And they all know it, and it freaks them all out because they don't really know what it is, and they never talk about it because everybody from the outside looking in says, well, you're this, so they got to keep the facade up. But almost everyone's had very deep spiritual experiences. So we all know it.
Right. And you usually discuss it probably with your closer friends around,
They're less.
Hey, Ken. Hey, Nora. Sorry, 2 people joined us. Thanks for joining us, guys. We're talking about aliens and angels and spiritual encounters
And
at this
fairies.
point. Huh?
And fairies.
And fairies, because we like to mix it all up.
Right.
And so that's what I talked about last week. On my page, I asked how many people believed in angels.
Yeah.
And I was shocked at how many said yes, they believed, and in the low number of no's. I mean, I was kind of very surprised about the data of that, that more people believe in them than don't. And so this last weekend, I was on a show talking about angels and experiences with angels. And so, we all have our own thing.
What is an angel? See, in other words, here's the part of our problem is that somebody's come along and depicted an angel as this person in a white robe with wings, right? And so when we say angel, our brain automatically, pulls up, from our database in our brain, these images, right? But people through history, what they're just talking about is I just ran into somebody who's not a human.
Right.
They're other, right?
Right.
There's something other. So the something other got defined as an angel.
Yes.
But then because of the fact that we've decided to, make little pictures because they're cute, now we all think we know what an angel is.
No, I have not seen a little cherub. No, I haven't seen.
Here's something. I mean, since we're going to get weird here.
Oh, how can we get more weird than angels, fairies, and aliens?
My
one subject matter.
A lot of people who say that they have seen angels, right? And so I'll ask them, and they'll have a dream or they're going to say, well, I said, what did it look like? Well, in almost every case, it was always somebody in a white robe, right?
Right.
And so my question to them all the time is there no budget in heaven for a wardrobe upgrade?
Really?
Yeah. They're like looking at me like, what are you talking about? I go, well, how come an angel is dressed in a white robe like somebody from the Middle East from 2,000 years ago? Like, does God have no budget, right? And the reason I bring this up, and there's a method to my madness. And what I'm trying to get people to understand is that an angel could show up in a business suit in a briefcase, right?
My angel showed up in a baseball uniform.
Right. In other words, it's
My
like
angel
we have this weird thing we've locked our brains into that this is what an angel looks like. And I'm going, no, they're spiritual creatures. They can appear,
Well, so they're getting that. They're getting that from the visions that they saw in heaven. So I think in heaven is when the people get the robes.
Years ago?
What?
I said, you think they're stuck in 2,000 year old?
I think that in heaven there's and it's funny. The host of the show that interviewed me this last weekend, she was going to talk about the hierarchy of angels. So there is a color and a hierarchy of things. There is supposedly a structure to it, and that's been in visions from some of the apostles. Yes, like they see different colors. I don't know why.
So do you
I
think
just know that that's a thing. It's a thing.
So do you think that just maybe these spiritual entities that we're talking about appear to people in a way that the person that's seeing these things needs them to, right?
Yes.
The reason I'm bringing this up is because a lot of people have had experiences and they weren't dressed in little white robes with little angel wings behind them, or have a halo.
My angels didn't have wings. They had.
So the reason I bring this up is if that's your paradigm, right? In other words, if your paradigm is this, you placed everything in a box.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
You're talking about the creator of the universe, right? And a world that we have very little knowledge of. And we have all these big opinions about what it is and what it isn't. And I just think it's better for us to take a less I know approach and more of whatever you want to do, God approach.
Yes. Thanks, Ken. Thanks for stopping by. I'll come see and look at your show. He has a show.
Well, and Desma brings up an interesting issue is that aliens could be demons, right? And my point is I just think aliens are spiritual creatures.
Well, okay, right. And they could be the fallen angels that are demons. They could be, right? They could be.
And again, depending on your worldview, because again, we come from a very Western Greek logical worldview. A lot of people have a difficult time with the fact that there's demons out there. Like that's just like really, right?
Well,
but if you go to other places, where they like, if you go where I go in Africa, you can see some things that will freak you out.
So Heather wants to know how to call an angel to speak with them. You just call them. You just say, "Hey,
they come on their own time. They don't come on your agenda."
Yeah, they do.
Remember, they are messengers for God, not for you. So they show up.
Thanks, Sylvia. Sylvia said that we're angels. Sylvia is a good friend of mine in Virginia.
That's very sweet of her.
She teaches French class.
Oh, how about Heather? Ooh, zinger this morning. Heather, we dated them.
Oh, shoot.
Woo!
Oh, we don't. Okay. Yeah. And they're
on the sword this morning.
Woo.
Dragon
Slayer. Okay, Mugs up on that one. Mugs up. Mugs up on that. We've dated. Yep, I dated.
When I talk, I use the word with, when I'm working with people, I talk about their inner demons, you know what I mean? But I'm using it euphemistically, parabolically, meaning things that beset us, you know what I mean? I'm not literally talking about a spiritual entity, though I have had experiences with them. I have come face to face with them, and they are. Well, they don't all see. This is the problem again with demons, right? Because remember, people always assume, right, because of the art, that a demon's going to come with red skin, laser eyes, and horns, and they don't.
No, but they are ugly.
They actually come looking good.
But they are ugly. There are some that are ugly.
Well, if they appear that way, but they can appear as angels of light as well. They can appear as good.
You have to be very discerning. You have to have a discernment, and the only way to get that is to know.
So, case in point, you lived in Germany in the 1930s. Adolf Hitler would have been an angel of light.
Oh, yuck!
Right? You have a whole group of people who have been impoverished, poor, and this man comes along. And he rebuilds your self-esteem. He builds your national pride. He gets your economy going. He is humming along. And suddenly he's an angel. I mean, to everyone, he was good personified because their lives were better, right? And
Sylvia, Sylvia said her family in Africa experiences.
Oh, yeah.
And so
we had Dr. B on the show. He could tell you a few stories.
So, is Dr. B still here? Yeah. So Sylvia, where's your family from now over there? Let's see.
Wayne's just catching up. Wayne, you're catching up with us. That's what we're talking about.
I see that.
fact that aliens are actually spiritual. Yep.
And natural beings.
Right.
Exactly.
That's what we've been talking about.
Now, this is what's crazy to me. Not crazy, but what is interesting to me is that we see a depiction in Hollywood of all of these things, but yet it's so hard for people to actually believe it. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. They think that's just fiction for a horror movie or whatever. But why would somebody be creating that whole scenario to put up on a screen, hire actors to do all of this if that wasn't a real possibility, right? So I don't.
My concern with it is that because of the fact that we've depicted it in a certain way, again, it's what I talked about in my book. When you think, what I talked about in my book was the experience that a Jewish woman, Hannah Arnett, had. She was a reporter, was sent to Israel in the 1960s for Adolf Eichmann's trial. Adolf Eichmann was the genocide architect. He was the guy responsible for the Holocaust, right? Mm-hmm. She was sent over there as a young 20-year-old reporter expecting to see the devil incarnate. She was expecting to see wild-eyed Charles Manson with a Nazi thing, carved into his forehead, like this raving lunatic.
Right.
And she gets over there, and he's the most bland, ordinary, unspectacular person. And she comes up with this phrase, and she calls it the banality of evil.
Oh, the banality. Yeah.
Right? It's ordinary. It's like this guy, she said, you couldn't have picked this guy out in an office as anything other than a simple administrator. Like, there was nothing spectacular about him.
Yeah.
And that for her was a profound moment about the fact that evil can appear as ordinary.
Right.
So that's my big concern with the whole Hollywood kind of thing, because I think what the danger that Hollywood and all those guys do is they actually create this false image of what evil actually is.
Right. Right.
We can be evil. Like, evil can be in us.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. Right. So Sylvia answered, she's from
Rwanda, had the same thing happen. She's talking about,
Gabon is where she's sent.
No, but she's talking about Rwanda.
Yeah.
Genocide there. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, for people to get in touch with that, they Awakenings Within. I mean, that's the name of the show. So Awakenings Within, an awakening within and getting in touch with God and with your spiritual side. That's what it's about. It's about getting in touch with your soul so that you know what you know that you know, right? So that you get that peace that comes with knowing that there is something for you, that there is something positive that wants to help you and to bring you through peace and calm and all those things. Exactly what he was talking about earlier in the hurricane and the eye of the storm. What is your eye of the storm? What do you have in place for your eye of the storm? Where does that come from? What is the source of that? And if you don't know, that's why you're going to, during this period of time right now, you're going to flail. You're just going to flip flop around. You're not going to find that love and that peace to hold on to during change, during anything, difficult in your life, in crisis. So I know Wayne said something really long, so let's see what he's got to say.
Well, what he's talking about is the actual plan 40 years ago that started to dumb down the Americans about history. There's been a concerted effort in the institutional world to uneducate people. So what we have is actually a whole generation of millennials that know nothing about the Constitution. They know nothing about the history you were talking about earlier. They don't know anything about the founding fathers. And the reason is, and again, I don't want to get political here, but we have two groups of people in our culture. One that wants to go, is saying, hey, this is what we were founded on, and we need to go stick to this. And there's another group of people that go, no, and they don't want that. You know what I mean? They're not, we call it constitutionalists, and then the ones that are non-constitutional, right? And so they want a different world. So the way to get the different world is to disconnect people from the past.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So there's actually been an effort to dumb down the population on history. They don't want people to remember.
Yeah. Right. And that's why
it happened. It's a strategy.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to get you.
It is a strategy.
It didn't just like, oh, gee, we forgot history this year. Oh, this has been a concerted effort.
Right.
And the second thing that they've done, is there's been a concerted effort to take out all the influences of Christianity, the teachings of Jesus, any biblical references, because the whole of the early system was all built on that. So it's like it's interesting. They're trying to actually take the soul right out of it.
Right. And Thomas Jefferson, he struggled with what he thought was his foundation kind of sometimes. When I took the tour at Monticello, he actually flip-flopped a little bit in his spirituality and was very candid and out front and center about it, and he told people. And so I mean, you can be, he was still seeking.
We're different people.
Yeah.
Adams was a linear thinker, right? Lawyer, logical, right? Very principled. Jefferson was an abstract thinker, philosophical, Jefferson was your artist kind of person, you know what I mean? Who was all over the place.
He was
trying to figure out, you know what I mean?
He was trying to figure it out.
Yeah, he was trying to figure it all out, where Adams already kind of figured it out. Like you know what I mean? And it was so interesting because these two guys were best friends. Yeah. And then they ended up getting into a big fight, right? And didn't talk to each other for 20 years.
Right.
And then my relative, Benjamin Rush, who was their friend, got them back together. And then they spent a decade writing these beautiful letters back and forth.
Right.
And then even freakier, they died on the same day, July 4th.
Yeah.
I mean, it's talking about spiritual strangeness. I mean, these two guys were just fascinating to me. You know what I mean?
And
gang, you know?
Well, what Nathan is saying, the problem is there's a possible we've been lied to about history. Well, it depends. I mean, it's a possibility, right? I mean, that's
I have a
realm of possibility.
In Texas who has literally spent 3 decades buying up at auctions every personal letter that he could find of the founding fathers to try to preserve the record, right? Because of the fact that in the public education system, they're trying to take out any influence, right?
Yes.
And then they all say, well, you hear this all the time. Well, the Constitution isn't based on the Bible. The Constitution, they keep trying to disconnect the two things, but the historical record says something different. And
right.
So what he's done is he's actually been buying up all of I call it reading in the white. It's all the things that people don't read, right? Because you read the Constitution, you read like he's got all the letters that talk about why and their conversations with each other. And you get a very different story emerging when you read their personal writings.
Right. Right. So Michael says that's his great.
Exactly. Yeah. He's John Adams and I'm Dr. Benjamin Rush. So we're both sons of the revolution.
Yeah. I'm a daughter of the Revolutionary War.
Yeah.
I'm a daughter.
There you go.
I am.
So it's a really interesting time right now. So there's a whole group of people that want to go back and say, this is who we were. We've lost our way. And we have a whole nother group of people that go, no, because who we were was wrong.
It was terrible.
We were terrible people.
Right. We were horrible, terrible people, which the truth is in the middle, right? So
we're both. That's one of the things that I talk about.
That's right. I'm not happy about my ancestors. Right. I'm not happy how that was. Michael Jones, that means Bob is also an alien. You're right. Yep. Because Michael's an alien. He's our original
my antennas now that I don't have hair.
he's our original alien. Michael's more of an alien than me.
Mm-hmm.
He won't tell me the secrets. I keep asking him. He won't tell me.
That's right. Wayne's an import. Do you know that? Because Wayne's from Zimbabwe.
Oh, is Wayne from Zimbabwe?
Yeah,
He's an import.
he is. He's a Zimbo.
So yeah, Heather is relatives to Sitting Bull.
There you go. Oh, that's an honor right there, because he was an interesting man.
Okay, so Nathan, how does the opposing views find common ground in today's times? It's a good question, Nathan.
Well, again, if you want to go back, how did they do it in the beginning? You had 13 colonies with 13 different religious worldviews.
Right.
How did they do it?
They came up with with structure.
So I'm gonna drop my bomb and then we can go.
Oh goodness. Oh no.
So here's my bomb. My bomb in the middle of all this is the reason why we're in the middle of conflict is because we've become a culture that's very self-centered. We have become a narcissist. We have an epidemic of narcissism in our culture. And I actually have a video out there that talk about it. But what's happened is in the last 40 years, we've become self-centered. It's all about me. And so the reason why we're fragmented right now is we've got everybody is going, it's about me, my rights, me.
Right. Again, it's between good and evil.
And because you go back to older generations and they saw themselves as a part of a community, and their value and their contribution was to build up the community. It was all about the family and the community. We have shifted to it's all about me.
Yeah.
And everybody's demanding, right? And so you're even seeing the people that are rebelling chewing each other up, right? You know what I mean? It's so interesting because anybody who gets any sort of traction, somebody else wants to tear them down because it's about me and I'm more important than you.
Yeah.
So it's really the root of it is we have a terrible problem with self-centeredness right now. It's epidemic. So
yeah.
That's my mom for this morning. Sorry to drop that in there, but it's
no, that's the truth. The truth, it comes back to the same, throughout the Bible, it talks about that. I mean, the Jews were enslaved. I think every culture at some point could have been.
Well, here's what's a little bit scary. Here's what's a little bit scary. No, not scary. Every culture, and probably the most prominent one, the Roman culture, ends up imploding because of self-centeredness. See, what happens is as a culture and a civilization becomes prosperous, it becomes focused on entertainment and self-gratification. Right. And when that starts happening, the values at the core of the society end up crumbling and it cannibalizes itself. And we are in such a moment. So where people of my persuasion is our hearts are pleading with God, bring a move that transforms people's souls right now. Because if we don't get some sort of a spiritual move that shifts the polar, from me to we, if that doesn't shift, it's over.
Yeah.
We will end up destroying ourselves.
Right. And Nora just said it, being selfless is what God wants.
Right.
And that is the whole crux of this show, is to care for one another and to be relational with one another, to educate one another, but us to be a community that seeks peace and seeks God's peace and trying to bring people together from all different cultures and society, and just to give hope and to be encouraging with one another, because I've lost my family unit. We're not very close like that. A couple generations back is when I see the separation started in my own family. It was that we didn't, we used to do dinners together, and like in our generation, we haven't continued that. We haven't continued that family unit where the family gets together every Sunday and sits down and, And I think that's important. Our foundations have kind of crumbled because like you said, we started being self-centered. You know, everything was like, well, I'm too busy. I can't do this. I got this to do, you know? And so I do think that is an issue. And I'm really very relational. So I always want that to happen, but everybody's got so many things going on that, you know, it just doesn't happen.
I just think we all need to do a gut check, a spiritual gut check. I mean, we need to look at ourselves and go, who am I? What am I? Is it all about me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, where in my life am I self-centered?
Well,
Where have I made it all about me? And the best way to undo that is actually to be intentional in your life in caring for others.
right. What Richard, where did it go? What Richard said, if we're going by the Bible, peace won't happen until the second coming of Jesus.
He's talking about cultural peace. We were talking earlier about internal peace, which is always available. So there's two different realities to that.
Thank you, Sylvia. So, you know, that's the thing is us just, even though that won't happen, we can do that in a small way. I mean, you know, you're right. Peace might not come upon all of the lands, but at least try to make.
You're not going to have peace because you're always going to have
try to help make peace in your own little area. What if we all took that on? You know, we may know that it was not going to happen until then, but we can try.
So what was the scripture?
Why can't we try?
What was the scripture that I quoted earlier? James 3:16. Right? Wherever you have envy and selfish ambition.
Yes.
So you're going to have chaos. So how do you undo chaos? You get rid of the lust for status and stuff. Check your ego.
Check your ego.
And be generous.
That's right.
Do the opposite.
Right. Be giving to one another,
Right.
You know, help one another, you know, whatever that looks like. And that's what we hope that we are bringing here. And that, I mean, please bring, you know, thank you, Nathan, for being so interactive today. I appreciate him joining.
Well, all of you guys, thanks, man. We have a lot of
thank you. But I mean, it was his first time, and I was like, wow, he talked a lot.
Okay, newbie. Good job, newbie. But no, thank you for all of you for your contributions.
Yeah, Sylvia,
really
Nora,
really great this morning, and
yeah, thank you guys. Wow, you guys like really. Wayne, and I don't know Wayne, so welcome everybody. That's new. Well, what did he say?
Mike's teasing me.
Oh my goodness, Mike, what are you saying now? Well, at least you today. He's not heckling me.
No, you're talking about you should write a book about, which I did, which is called.
Yes,
That's Mike. You gotta know Mikey's humor. Remember, he's.
Please get Bob's book, In the Company of Joseph. I said that right, correct?
Yeah.
I always think that I don't say it right for some reason. In the Company of Joseph. And it is so for right now. I mean, if you are seeking for some inner peace and understanding what's going on, his book actually is very prophetic, not pathetic, prophetic. And when he wrote it, he had no idea what was about to happen, but he did. God knew. So God said, hey, you're going to write this book, Bob, right? You need to write this book. Yeah. Because they're going to need this. So
I wrote it in duct.
Huh?
I wrote it in duct.
You're like,
all the bullets coming back at me.
This doesn't seem like
no, because when I put it out there, everybody thought I was being dramatic. You know what I mean? I was like, I was the one being hysterical. And then March hit and everybody's like, oh, maybe you were onto something.
Wow. Her family. He was talking to Sylvia. I don't know what he was saying. You lost your top fan status. Yep. See, look what happens. Yes. Desma, please have some seek it. And if I have to say, if I didn't have God at this time, I know that I would be a lot more lost. I don't think, we have all on days, but I have way less because I know where to seek it.
So the reason why you go to the eye of the storm is to get perspective. When you know what I mean? I have another little saying, a fool runs in the fog. Well, it's the same thing in a storm. If you're in the middle of a storm, you have no perspective. I mean, That's what happens with pilots. So we have plane crashes because you get into the fog and you keep going and you pile into the side of a mountain or whatever. You lose your bearings. So the reason you go to the eye of the storm where it's calm is to get your bearings.
To get your bearings.
And for me, I always go back and go, okay, I need to get my bearings. Well, my bearings are True North. Sorry, Michael, is not a company that does landscaping. True North is Jesus for me. It's the teachings of Jesus. That's how I set my compass, right? I go there to remind myself, okay, here's right, here's wrong, here's north, here's right. I get my bearings again in there. Yeah. And that's where you get your peace, right? Just like, okay, now, all right, I got this.
That's right.
That's why I remind myself all the time, I'm an alien. The truth of the matter is, if I lose, a car is a car. It's going to burn up anyways. You know what I mean? A house is a house. In the scheme of things, these really don't matter, right?
That's right. That's right.
So that's where you get your bearings. You go back to the eye of the storm and you begin to go, okay, all right, I see clearly now, right? Here's my values. Here's who I am. Here's what God's asking of me. Okay. All right, I got this. Then you can go into the storm and you're not tossed to and fro because you've got,
Yep. And that's why you need to know where your foundation is, what you're rooted in, what you're grounded in.
Right.
And that's the whole purpose of us to share some wisdom, share some scriptures, where you can find that, where you can seek that. So anyway, I know that we're past the time, aren't we? Oh my goodness, we're way past the time. Wow. We went long today. Thank you guys so much for your interaction. And oh, hey, Lance. And yes, God bless you and everyone watching. Thank you guys for joining us today. And join us on Thursday night, 6:30. And I have a show tonight at 6:30. It's on slaying the giants. Unforgiveness. It's a big one. It's a big giant. So anyway, we thank you guys for your interaction, and we are here for you. If you need anything. I see that Michael was talking to Sylvia about writing a book herself. So that's what he was talking about. So I think that would be great. She would be great. Yeah. I would love to have a book from Sylvia. So Sylvia, go write that book. So anyway,
story, girl.
Yeah, I mean, she's amazing. So thank you, Bob, as always, and we will see you all on Thursday evening at 6:30. And if you could share this out, we would appreciate it. And thank you, just for your never-ending loyalty to us, and I really do appreciate that. So, all right, we love y'all.
Bye.
Peace out.
Bye. Have a good week.
You too.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye.